first name's Joy, Joy. I'm 39 years old. My drug of choice was alcohol. Well, my use started out as a teenager, for fun, of course. I did a lot of alcohol, drugs, partying, having a good time. The older I got, the more I led into alcohol. I think my addiction really blew up after my divorce, when I didn't know how to cope with what I felt was losses and difficult times. I definitely hated the morning hangover. That was never fun. I hated waking up in the morning, not really knowing what I did the night before, or wondering why I was passed out on the floor or in the bathroom. It definitely caused me to be a lot lazier, gain a lot of weight. I don't feel I performed my best at my job or even as a mother. So I experienced all kinds of negative emotions. It always brought out the saddest stories in me, the worst things I was going through. I said a lot of mean things to people and did hurtful things to people that I regretted the next day. It was just a really sad, depressing time for me. I don't know that I had to work very hard at it, because in the worst part of my addiction, I lived all by myself. I spent a lot of time alone, isolation. I would go out with friends and drink, and they knew I drank a lot, but they didn't realize it was problematic for me. People were actually surprised when I came out and said that I was an alcoholic, because I spent so many nights and days all alone in my house, just drinking as much as I could. Whenever I had a craving or withdrawal, I just went to the store and got more. You know, I never let it go on for too long. I maintained my job, so I would get through the 8 hours of the day, but as soon as I left work, it was straight to the store to get the alcohol. I did a couple things that come to mind. One of the things was I sold all of my bedroom furniture and many of my household items at one point in order to have money to buy alcohol and drugs at that time. I also would frequently take money out of my daughter's piggy banks so that I had money. Of course, always saying I would pay it back and then taking it right back out. I think a lot of our promises are made while we are on the alcohol or drugs. And then when you wake up in the morning and realize you can't do what you promised because you make unrealistic promises a lot of the time. In the end, yeah, I had attempts at getting sober multiple times. Once I finally admitted that I was an alcoholic, I tried to do it all by myself, of course, a couple times, and that never worked. And then at one point, I decided by not drinking alcohol and taking pills, Xanax, stuff like that instead, that I was not feeding my addiction. So yes, towards the end, I was led more into taking narcotics. That is a huge part of me getting sober. First of all, without the Lord, I would not be where I am today at all. I think the last time I used, which was almost 2 years ago, I was sitting outside of the emergency room of the hospital because I had taken too many pills all by myself at 2 o'clock in the morning. They had kicked me out of the emergency room because they were done with me. And I sat on the bench, and you know, the first couple times I tried to get sober, I didn't allow God into my life. I didn't turn my life over to the hands of God. But that night, I felt something come over me, and I just closed my eyes and I said, God, I can't live like this anymore, you know? And that's the night I officially turned my life over to God. After that, I went through some recovery programs and steps that helped me a lot. But over time, I became more drawn into the faith aspect of it, because knowing I had God with me, and His strength to give me strength, is how I kept going. It was all I had. I didn't know what else to turn to. You know what I mean? That was it. I had given everything, so I had no other choice at the time, what I would call it, but to say, God, take over. Let me know what I should do. And I did that, and my life has changed amazingly, in so many ways. And I still, to this day, every single morning, I give my life to God, because I know there's no other way that I'll stay sober or tackle whatever each day may bring me, because as we all know, even though you achieve sobriety, even though you have God in your life, every day is going to have something coming at you. And being someone who, you know, was an addict, it is so easy, it could be so easy to fall back if you don't have anybody or anything, any powerful words or guidance on how to get through these issues without using substances. So for me, that's been using God. I've read more in the last 2 years, more than I've ever read in my whole life. It's my go-to. It gets me through everything. I wake up extra early every morning just to make sure I start my day out with prayer first, of course, and then reading. I have multiple things I read. As far as getting into the actual Word of God, I have a Bible that has a year lesson plan in the back. So I read through that. I did read the whole Bible when I first got sober, which was amazing. I do that every morning. I'm usually reading some book that is on the study of Christ and faith. A lot of scientific proof that there is a God. And then I also read a lot of self-help books. I pick them out usually according to whatever situation I may be facing at the time. Always faith-based, of course, and it's helped me in so many ways I can't even explain. It's just really turned my life around. It really has. Well, God definitely blessed me with amazing parents. I'm very fortunate to have incredibly supportive parents who were there for me through it all. I also believe God brought the first person into my life who helped me get sober, who actually helped me complete the program. And we met at a totally not related place, at the gym. And we didn't even know. And then God just guided me into her hands, and she turned my life around. She really did. Without her, I probably would not be sober today. I wouldn't have sought God as hard as I did without her. God brings people into my life every day with my job, just in different situations. People who may be an inspiration to me, like you, or people who I seem to get a lot these days of people who are struggling and who feel they can talk to me because, you know, I was once there also. Like I said, my job on a daily basis is bringing people to me every hour. If you need help, you first have to admit to yourself. You've got to admit to yourself that you have a problem. Stop trying to blow it off or come up with excuses. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. And you've got to just go for it. You have to take that step and move towards whatever it takes to get you to a better place in life. Well, I can say for finding a program, I mean, I think everybody is different. You know, everybody needs something different. We're all different individuals. We respond to things differently. But as far as working for it, it's going to be work every day for the rest of my life. For me, the way I work and keep my sobriety is just to get in the Word of God every day. It's all I can do all day. At first it felt a little exhausting, to be honest with you, because I just spent every second of my day praying and trying to think how God could get me through this next step or this next day. I just want anybody who's struggling to know that there is hope, that with God in your life, when you put your trust in Him, your faith in Him, your life can change in such an amazing way. Ways you would never even imagine. You can feel free. You can feel peaceful. You must ask for help. You have to seek help. And that's the only way to get out of it. My name is Joy. This is my story. And thanks for watching Overcomers TV.